Well, yeah, this your boy J Fat J Figgity and the Biggity. Alright, chapter 6, House of Desire. I wish I could tell you this chapter started with a warning. It didn't. It started with hope. Not the loud kind, not the desperate kind. The kind of hope that sneaks into your life wearing sweatpants and cooking dinner. The kind that makes you believe you finally found a place to put down your armor. When I met Classy, life was good. Not perfect, but good. I was making money, driving trucks, working long weeks, building a future one paycheck at a time. The kind of life where every dollar had purpose and every hour belonged to somebody else. I wasn't rich. I wasn't successful yet. Success looked like a beach somewhere. Success looked like finally enjoying the life I had spent years building. I wasn't there yet, but I could see it from where I stood. Then I met Sassy. The first date wasn't elegant. No fancy restaurant, no fairy tale. Just two people figuring each other out. What caught my attention wasn't that she was beautiful, though she was. What caught my attention was that she seemed willing to meet me halfway. There was something about her that felt easy. Something playful, a little classy, a little nasty, exactly the kind of combination I thought I wanted. The more time we spent together, the more she felt less like somebody I was dating and more like somebody who belonged in my everyday life. Then her phone got cut off. When I finally got in touch with her, I learned she was in danger of losing her apartment. Most people would tell that story like it was a financial decision. It wasn't. Not for me. The truth was, I didn't want to lose the connection. I didn't want distance. I didn't want distractions. I didn't want another person slipping through my fingers because life got complicated. So I paid the bill, then another, and another, not because I thought I was buying love. I thought I was protecting it. At least that's what I told myself. For a while, it felt like the best decision ever I had made. The happiest memory I have is of Classy isn't sexual. It's a card game. My nephew and his pregnant girlfriend were staying with me during one of those seasons where trouble seemed to follow them around like a storm cloud. The house was full, food was everywhere, people were laughing, I was teaching spades, and Sassy moved through the room like she'd always belonged there, not as a guest, not as somebody trying to impress me, as family. She made everybody comfortable. She checked on people. She laughed easily. She fit. Looking back, that was probably the moment I stopped imagining years. I stopped imagining weekends and started imagining years. Because the thing I loved most about Classy wasn't her body. It wasn't the sex. All of those were top 10, though. It wasn't even the attention. It was the certainty. Whenever we made plans, she treated them like promises. She once told me that if we scheduled time together, she didn't care if the president called. Nothing would stop her from spending that time with me. Maybe that sounds small. It wasn't. Not to me. Life had already taught me that people leave, people change, people disappear. But Classy made me feel like I always knew where I stood. For a man who spent most of his life bracing for disappointment, that certainty felt like love. The first crack became when she disappeared. She went to Chicago. I gave her permission stupidly. Then the phone died. At first I wasn't thinking about another man. I was worried. I called her. Then I called again. Then I called her mom. The version of the story people tell later is usually cleaner than that. The truth is that fear came first. Suspicion came second. When she finally called back, she said I was being dramatic. Her phone died. Her cousin picked her up. Everything was fine. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. The problem wasn't that I could prove she was lying. The problem was that I couldn't make myself completely believe her. That's a dangerous place to be with somebody you love. Not knowing, not trusting, not leaving. Just standing in the middle between faith and doubt. Looking back, that was the night I started protecting myself. Then Lexi entered the picture. Classy called her sister, a lifeline. The kind of friend that becomes family when life gets hard. I understood that. What I didn't understand was how much room that family was about to take up inside a relationship that was already struggling to make room for itself. The truth is, Lexi didn't enter my life as temptation. She entered my life as a friend. She entered my life as a friend. Life had been rough on her. You could see it. She was funny, down to earth, resourceful. The kind of woman who learned how to stretch a dollar because life never gave her enough of them. Somehow she seemed exhausted by life itself. Other days she laughed like she'd never been hurt. I liked her, I respected her, and over time our friendship grew in plain sight. No secret meetings, no hidden phone calls, just conversations, long conversations. The kind that happen when people spend enough time around each other to stop performing. Then Sassy disappeared again. This time she left town after moving Lexi into the house. And for the first time, I found myself alone with a woman I really liked, already understood, and already trusted. Looking back, the line wasn't crossed in my bedroom. The line was crossed in my mind. I started creating stories that made bad decisions easier. Maybe Sassy knew what she was doing. Maybe she expected something to happen. Maybe this was permission. The truth is, temptation rarely sounds like temptation. Most of the time, it sounds like justification. Like the line finally got crossed. It happened fast. Too fast. The truth is, I wasn't just sleeping with Lexi. I was using my relationship with Lexi to influence my relationship with Classy. That sounds ugly when you say it now. I was using my relationship with Lexi to influence my relationship with Sassy. Yeah, that sounds ugly when I say it now. Because I was Classy because it was. Classy listened to Lexi. If Lexi approved something, Classy became more open to it. And somewhere along the way, love got tangled up with leverage. I convinced myself I had found a shortcut. What I actually found was another complicated human being, because Lexi wasn't classy. She appreciated what I provide, but she wasn't interested in living under the same rules. She wasn't interested in being controlled, and eventually all the contradictions started piling up on top of each other. Then everything exploded. Ironically, it wasn't the affair that caused the explosion. It was a house rule. I told them from the beginning that I don't do surprise male visitors. Then one day that rule got broken. An argument started. Then the argument became war. Voices got louder. Respect got smaller. Everybody stopped listening. Lexi started throwing insults. I started throwing truths. The problem with very truths is that once they become ammunition, they stop belonging to the people involved. They belong to the room. And that room was about to hear everything. For months, I had convinced myself I was managing the situation, managing the relationship, managing the friendship, managing the secret. The argument taught me something different. Nothing was under control. Not for me, not them, not the story I kept telling myself. Because the moment the truth surfaced, everybody stopped fighting about these rules and started fighting about betrayal. For a long time, I told myself, I told the story like I was exposing a betrayal, because that version hurts less. The older I get, the more honest the story becomes. The truth is that I wanted to win. I wanted to be right. I wanted everybody in that room to know I wasn't crazy. I wanted proof, and I had it, so I used it. The problem is that some truths are hand grenades. Once you pull the pin and throw them, it doesn't matter who was right. The room still explodes. No matter how loud the argument got, no matter how unfair I felt things had become, I could have survived that fight. I could have survived the insults. I could have survived being misunderstood. I could have survived another difficult conversation. What I couldn't survive was what happened after the truth came out. Because the moment I decided to win, I lost something I actually loved. That's the part nobody tells you about certain arguments. You can be completely right and still destroy something worth keeping. After everything settled, Classy drifted back through my life, only briefly. A borrowed dollar, a payback favor, small moments, ghosts of a relationship that once felt permanent. House of Desire isn't a story about sex. It isn't a story about cheating. It isn't even a story about betrayal. It's a story about what happened when I stopped following the script And by the time I realized that what the script was trying to protect, the curtain had already fallen. So that's what I got for this latest chapter. I know my reading be something else. If y'all got any suggestions on how y'all want me to make these videos better, holler at the player when you see me on the street tree. But yeah. And yeah, I'm trying to make these versions so, everybody can listen comfortably. I ain't getting into no graphic details. We all grown. Y'all can use y'all imagination. But yeah, any feedback, let me know.